All right, we're going to get started. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate it, especially after the great shakeout drill. It's a nice walk to be outside for a little bit before we come in. We also have a virtual presence with some folks that couldn't make it, so I'm going to be speaking over there as well. There's the where the camera is for our virtual. And thank you so much for being here. My name is Elley Ho, and here I am with my fellow panel members. I'll let them introduce themselves, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Manijeh Khazeni. I'm a family childcare in Sunnyvale, and I'm so glad to be with all the professional teachers here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Michelle Melendez, and I'm a childcare provider in Santa Clara. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, thank you. And the reason they're here is because both Manijeh and Michelle have gone through our trainings through First Five Quality Matters Initiative, and they were inclusion endorsed since 2021. And so they're here because they have a lot of good things to share with us about their practices. And this is all about, being practical, seeing how things happen in real situations. So we have a lot of things to see and to hear from them from today. And for those that would love to make comments or ask questions, feel free to do it at any time as well, whether you're online or in person. So I am from Inclusion Collaborative. My name is Elley Ho, and an inclusion training specialist. And as we know from by now, since we're here, as much as we love to work with our children, I hope we all share that same vision that we would love to embrace diversity within the population that we serve, and also support the lifelong quality inclusion experience for everyone. And we know that it's important that we start our work early from the very beginning in early childhood education. And that's why we're here. So, just a quick question, just to get us, to start our brain to fire up. How do we know if we are practicing high quality inclusion? What do you see when you walk into an inclusive classroom? What would you expect? Communication between students. There's engagement. Ooh, great. What else would you notice? Everyone is together, not being separated. They're all engaged. One more. Sorry? No kids stand out. You can't tell which child has disabilities or learning needs or IEP, right? So everyone is kind of like equal partners. Great. Thank you so much. So, in order for us to really understand the quality of our inclusive practices, this is what we're, for our purpose for today, this is the tool that we're going to use as a lens to look at inclusion, and it's called Inclusive Classroom Profile. It is a reliable instrument to help rate inclusive settings for preschoolers. And so it's structured observation rating scale to assess the quality of daily classroom practice that support developmental needs of children with disabilities in early childhood settings. And oh, great. Thank you. Yeah. Sure, sure. So there's more comments about inclusion.
Yes. So we have student engagement and adaptive furniture, flexible seating, and standing.
Great. So those are really good qualities that we wanted to see adaptations, right, in the classroom. So this is what the inclusive profile is about, and we will actually go over all the items to understand this profile in depth. And so starting in 2018, our County Office of Education has partnered with First Five Quality Matters initiatives to really provide those trainings for our early childhood educators who really wanted to learn more about high quality early childhood programs. And so if you want to learn more about Quality Matters, this PDF that is attached to our slide deck for today is a clickable link. So you can actually click onto the logo and have more information about First Five, as well as the inclusive classroom profile, as well as our department. So there are embedded links in the PDF that you can learn more about all these partnerships. So here are the 12 areas of inclusive praxis. We will go over all of them today. We're pretty greedy. And so I'm just going to go one at a time and showcase some great work that our fellow panel members practice on a day-to-day basis, as well as some other educators that I've come across who actually showcase those practices. So the first one is adaptations of space and materials and equipment. So we're really looking at the quality of environmental adaptations, what the strategies adults have to support students' access and participations with use of space and materials. So before I forget, I actually have a handout if you're interested to think about your own space. I will just give this to you if you don't mind to pass it for me, sir. Alejandro, thank you. If you want to take notes about, this is a great idea, I would like to do that. That would be kind of like a note-taking sheet for you if you're interested. And so here are some examples. Actually, Kimmy, I think this was your example right here. So I got to work with Kimmy in other setting, and I think that was one of her visuals that she created. She thought about it, right? Did you create this out of your own imagination? She found it somewhere, but this is so useful. So these are all our second teachers, where you can use visuals to teach instead of telling kids what to do. And these two are especially phenomenal during COVID, knowing that sharing is not preferred. And so every child has a space to use their own towel for wiping their hands after washing hands, and where to put their mask after during lunchtime, so that they can actually go back to the same place and get their mask after lunch. So that to me looks like a very good idea, very appropriate for COVID. And then we have thinking about knowing that some children need more support, whether it's visual support with finishing a project that a child with vision might need to have a more kind of a closer look of what they could work on, versus another child who might need less to work on in the one-on-one correspondence experience. And again, thinking about not every child might have to do the same thing. They could do the same thing, but in a different degree, in a different way, so that they could still have that same experience with support. And the second item, we're thinking about adult involvement in peer interactions. And so is this something that you all do every day, looking at the qualities of activities and strategies to support children's social experience and to develop those sustained social interactions with them? So one way to think about it, this is all buddy system idea. Has anyone been doing buddy system in your classroom? Yes? No? No? Okay, so buddy system could be done in different ways. In this particular situation, before the children go to free choice after circle time, the teacher will give out wristbands so that the two kids that are being paired by the teacher intentionally will be joining in to play at free choice and having the same wristband, so that if they lose their partner, they know where to find them, or the teacher would know where to find them. And then, or there could be a visual board. This is particularly for going outside from inside lining up, that children know who to line up with, so that there's another, again, within the design, that there are ways for children to have those little, interactions and building relationships with each other, which maybe otherwise they wouldn't be playing with each other because they are not naturally friends, but through this partnership, they have more opportunities. And so another way to think about it is also using them as helpers. And here I'm going to show a little example of Michelle being able to create this space for children to interact with her support.
Both of you guys can do it together, or you can play rock and scissors for it. No. What choice? Either do it together or do rock, paper, scissors. You can just dump the whole entire thing on there. There you go. Oh my goodness, so strong. Okay. Careful. Oh my goodness, going all the way. Okay. Thank you. Aiden, I look at her. Thank you. Okay. So that's me.
All right, here's Michelle. So, Michelle, would you like to share with us what your strategies are in just helping children to interact with each other?
So on this particular area, the little boy needed extra support. So I've used the buddy system to help him build relationship with his peers. And another great way is that he loves gardening. So that's one tool that I've used for him to basically be around his friends. And the little girl was willing to help him with that. He's having a difficult time making friendships and keeping friendships. So with them pairing together, they're learning to work together and be a team and really learn about each other. So that's one way of using the buddy system with us.
I would like to add something. I noticed that while she was very firm and making it clear the choices, that you have a choice of sharing or you can do rock scissors, and she repeated to make it clear. At the same time, she was very supportive. So she emotionally supported the child and encouraged him that, oh, you're so strong, or you're lifting it. Oh my God. So that I really like that.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. All this prompting really helps children to know what to do in this situation, especially with sharing. We know it's not easy to do so. All right, so another item that we're looking at is adult guidance of children's play, which again, we do every day. But in a way to do it intentionally, we wanted to see how adults would offer choices, encourage and scaffold those individual play ideas and expand on it. So here we're going to be watching Manijeh while she has this really fun watering activity for all children. And we can see how her practices in guiding children's play in this snapshot.
You're such a good friend. All are so friendly and so kind playing together. That's awesome. You are watering the tree, and I see that you are standing right next to each other, so friendly, so respectful. See, 3, 4 friends are working. Trees need a lot of water to be fresh and green like that. You are watering that big plant, Adian.
It's gonna turn red.
It's going to turn red in fall, that's right. And it's fall, and the leaves are going to be red and yellow and brown, and apple tree is growing some apples. Please stay off of the garden, but you can still water them. Thank you so much. Amir Ali asked nicely. Thank you for asking, Amir Ali. Thank you so much for following the rules and being respectful. You are working as a team to keep the garden fresh. All 3 of you in the fire truck right next to each other, and you're working together.
All right, that's a lot of positive feedback there. So, Manijeh, what is in your mind when you see children at play? How is your brain running, and what make this all happen?
We make lots of comments. It helps them to understand that we are noticing them, we are paying attention to them, and that is the best thing that they can get. We acknowledge them, validate what they know, what they do, what they say, and we expand and extend their vocabularies and scaffold on their learning. And you notice in this video, there's a lot of concentration and emphasis on being respectful to each other, being right next to each other, and working as a team. We had one child that for a period of time, he went through a difficult time. So he was hurting and pushing and hitting other children. And that was becoming a big issue with other families. So with Ellie's help, thank you to Elley that she gave me a lot of support. So we were able to pass that stage, and now the child is really good. So we, even if the child is doing 99 things wrong and just one thing right, we give attention to that one thing. Even if he was not doing anything, he's just walking next to other children. I tell him that, oh, you are walking so respectfully, you are mindful, you are aware of your body, you are keeping your body to yourself. So that comments, that acknowledgement and positive descriptive acknowledgement gave him a lot of support. So I tried to emotionally connect with him, and it helped like miracle.
So as you can see on this video as well, like you can't really tell that there's any kind of any other disabilities on there, someone needing support or whatnot. Everyone is basically together as one, and they're all working together. And with the scaffolding, it does help the children a lot with not just basically expressing their feelings. And Manijeh is really good at having the children express what the children want and need, and she's supporting that with them.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions, ideas? I thought that was such a beautiful practice, knowing the background story, right? Why did she mention about keeping body to yourself? Why, what is about standing next to each other, right? Things that we probably had kind of taken as an expectation, but she named it because of the background of that child really needing those reinforcing thoughts of body awareness. So thank you. So the next one, we think about conflict resolution. So in ICP, we really wanted to look at how adults provide support to help children actually understand their own feelings, their perspective. And the intention is really to try to help children problem solve by facilitating the problem solving process, other than giving them the solution. They actually are the ones to actually problem solve on their own. So there is a quick video I'd like to share about a teacher trying to problem solve a conflict. Obviously, this is real conflict, and so you can see what is check on see what's the first thing the teacher did when someone came to her and complained about a situation.
Julian won't be my friend. No. What have you tried to do with him? Oh, why don't we talk to Julian about how that makes you feel? Julian, Aaron wants to speak to you. What does your body look like when you feel angry, Aaron? What does your face look like? I see that your eyes are kind of down and your lips are kind of going. Is that what it looks like when you feel angry? Yes. Julian, what do you want to say to Aaron?
I'm being Cecilia's friend.
You're being Cecilia's friend. Do you think we could all be friends together?
I can play with Anthony.
That's a great solution, Aaron. Is that okay with you for now? Aaron, Anthony, and you will play with Cecilia? Does that sound like a good plan? Good job. High five. You guys figured that out. High five. Aaron! High five, Aaron!
Erin is too happy to be gone and forgot about the high five. So, what was the first thing that this teacher did? What was the first thing that came out of her mouth? Do you guys remember? Manijeh? Can I say? Oh, yeah, that's not true. She asked the child if he could talk to them about it. Right, right. What else also happened? Right, talk about how does that make you feel, right? And then she actually described that in detail. Oh, look at that. This is what your face looked like. And so really is going through the whole sequence that we often wanted to encourage. It's that expression of feelings and narrating what it looks like, and then prompting the child to think what he can do or what they should be, what they can all be friends. Is that okay? Or so it's really that problem solving process that leads to the child doing it on his own, and then the teacher acknowledge, oh yeah, you solved the problem. It looks so effortless, but I'm sure that was being practiced on a day-to-day basis, because there's so many conflicts that can happen, right? What's the average number of conflicts that can happen in a classroom? Endless. Every day is an opportunity. So that's just a quick snapshot, but I thought that was such a good summary of all the skills that we can put in one little clip. So the next one, we think about membership. This is very unique in the inclusive classroom profile as a tool to really think about all these activities and lessons that educators can actually intentionally address differences. And that is okay to be different. And so we are going to see Michelle reading this book, Just Ask. Has anyone heard or seen or read this book? Yes? Yeah. So this is a live version of this book that Michelle was demonstrating in her circle time book reading about Just Ask.
The more we get together, the happier we'll be. So as BJ was saying, he can't hear, so he has to use his hands to kind of form this word. Go ahead, Adrian. What do you think? Well, it's not a disability. The one you're talking about is a medical disability. But autism basically, they're just really smart. You see, their brain works a little differently. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, I like forgot we were on that side. Come on this way.
I know that they're different, and at the school they actually are different than we do.
Yes. Their mind is constantly thinking, and so they always have all these ideas, right? Now I know you're saying that they probably like. Do you see what you're doing here? They love dinosaurs, right? And love dinosaurs all the time. And that's basically like some kids. I know they like to things, or they like to form cars in a long. Used to line them up with Carol, and he knows all the cars. The easiest way I can explain dyslexia, it's like reading a different language. Because the words get so mixed up. You're looking at it, I know. So if you're reading it, do you think this is something that you can read?
Yeah.
Can you try to read? No? What's happening with our friend? It's hard to read because it's kind of like a first language. Thank you.
I hope he gave it back to you. So Michelle, tell us about your strategy in helping children to understand differences.
For me, it's really important that the kids are introduced at earlier age on different disabilities, race, or culture. That way, it's not so taboo for them. And so, with this book, it's a perfect example because there's different types of disabilities on there. And the way I had to explain to the kids, I had to explain it to where they can understand the language. And if you notice, every single one of them are kind of moving around, right? So some of them have, you don't see it on there, but some of them have ADHD. One of them is autistic, and the other one was undiagnosed with ADHD as well. So I had to figure out a way for me to teach them all in their own unique individualities for them to understand me and still be able to learn something in our care.
It's impressive to see how she can concentrate doing her work with all those noise and use a visual. So this is something that I'm looking into, add and learn. So after this conference, hopefully I'll go back to video again to learn some of the techniques and steal them from her. That's okay.
And I think membership is a great idea when we think about circle time being so challenging for some children. And sometimes when we do a lot to accommodate a child, we might be thinking, oh, what the other kids think about, why are we accommodating one child so much? What about me? Those ideas that we often have as educators. And I think, again, those conversations, if we say it out loud that we are really accepting the differences, right? It is okay for Johnny to be reading on his own when we're doing circle time because he's not quite ready yet. He's still learning. That learning journey is what we could all kind of emphasize so that children understand each other differences, that we don't always need to be doing the same thing. All right. And then this is something that, again, we do every day, building relationships with our children. And a lot of times with children that need extra support, they might not have the verbal skills for us to have a lot of sustained reciprocal interactions that we thought we could, because they might not be responding. And so this is a nice video of a child who really has very limited verbal skills, but with the teacher's interpretation and use of gestures and animated, kind of way to communicate with her, there's a lot of sustained reciprocal interactions between the two. So I would like to invite you all to just watch and see what kind of work that she has done to engage with this child who might otherwise be just doing her own Play-Doh work without interacting with others. So let's check what her strategies are.
She's so cute. Look, William is making Junior cookie too.
Do this.
You made Star? Blue, what do you want? Are you looking at your gingerbread man? Oh, he smells so good. He's so yummy. I'm full. Wow, that was really tasty cookie. Can you make some more? Can you more gingerbread cookie? You can do it? Okay. Yeah?
And I squish them together.
Hold the Play-Doh. Put your hands over here. Hold the Play-Doh. Roll it. That's right. Roll the Play-Doh. Yes, you're doing the Play-Doh. Roll it. Okay. Ask your friend Janelle. Oh, she said 2 minutes. She's gonna get her gingerbread out of the cutter, okay? Okay, let's get out.
All right. What do we see this teacher do to have this sustained reciprocal social interaction with her student? Mm-hmm. Following the student's lead with her interest, right? What else do we see? The way she talked to her. What are some ways? Mm-hmm. Right, smiling, eye contact at her level. You guys have any?
She's really engaging with the kids and repeating what they say. So kind of like, okay, you're rolling it. So they can hear that, and she's following through with it.
And kind of expanding so that she could actually request from her friend for more, and using that language modeling opportunity, right? So there's just, again, she kept expanding from just being playful with her to extending it to turn taking with friends, that the friend asked for 2 minutes. So now the new skill is let's wait for 2 minutes. All right. And then let's see. Oops. right here. All right, so this is a big one, support for communication, because we know communication is so important in our work with children. And so this is a very important item that every teacher would love to work more on, is that quality of support to encourage and expand children's communication skills. And so there are many ways to do it, from modeling, prompting, imitating, asking open-ended questions, and offering different ways to communicate. And so we'll see two videos. First one is Michelle again. And let's see how she used visuals to help children understand her directions.
Okay, take a look at it for me, and then we're gonna go on to this one. Oh, Mr. Remember, we're gonna ask about the last question, right?
So tell us about it.
Here's another example of how I can keep our little classroom at bay using the visual cues for them, so that way the kids can still engaging with me, and at the same time they see my visual cues and they know exactly what to do. And a lot of this is just done repetitively. We practiced it and practiced it and practiced it, and I'm still using those to this day, along with the calming kit, which you don't see in here.
I love the using visual kit. It's very helpful.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so you see what's the wait sign, and then what is the other one? That is the quiet. Right. And yeah, that was beautiful. So these are an older group of children, right? They are
They range from the 3-year-old up to second grade.
so 3 to second grade
During summer, yeah.
during summer, during COVID. And we're about to see another group. These are toddlers. Okay, these are just learning about what choices are. We're using visuals. So let's see the difference in terms of those learning, curve and the journey of learning. So this is another childcare provider who is inclusion endorsed by us, and this is during snack time. And so during snack time, they're eating quietly, and then they will be doing free choice afterwards. And so the teacher is offering visual support to guide them understand what those choices are, and see how she actually used those pictures to support their communication.
Art project. Play, or maybe a sensory bin, or play. You would like to play Play-Doh as well. Okay. You like to play projects? Very good. Thank you. Hector, you want to try again? Show me with your finger. Show me which one. You want to make a project? You want to make a project? Can you point to it? Say project. Project. Right. You're gonna make a project, Carolina. Okay. Ryan. Do you want to do next? Project. Paint. Want to go catch? Play toys. Sorry, I'm gonna just make a face. Oh, you sensory bin. Smile. That's yours. Yes. Thank you. Good. That means that when we are all done eating, we will get to play. Okay?
Wow. What stood out to you with her practice with this, choice board, to these little toddlers?
She's using the visual cues to kind of help them. She's using visual cues to help the toddlers point out what they want, since most of them probably don't speak well, they're toddlers. by using the pointer, the teacher knows exactly what they want to do.
And the interesting thing is that she is supporting each child based on their own level and development. Some child only smiles, she gives a fist bump, and the other child says one word, she repeats one word, and another child says complete sentence. So each one at different developmental stages.
Right. Great observation. My goodness. Says everything that from the whole journey of learning, right? From not using words to, just kind of fist bumping to saying project, and to actually a child doesn't even need to point to say, I want to do project, right? That's that whole range that is being supported in just one choice board. And I just love the way the choice board is so big and they're so spread out so that the choices are so clear. You can't make a mistake with your point. And any other comments, ideas around using choice board to guide free choice?
It's a clear expectation.
Clear expectation so that they know exactly where to go, right? And to make that decision during snack is sort of a very regulatory process. Like you have to make a decision and follow through afterwards. It's so amazing to expect, just from little toddlers, and they all did afterwards. That's the best part about it. So I just wanted to able to showcase the differences in age and developmental stages, and you can still have that same expectation, which to me is really beautiful.
And I'd like to mention that it's clearly respecting each child, asking each child and paying attention to all of them.
Right. That's very evident. Any other comments? All right. So here is Manijeh's circle time, where we see that we wanted to see adaptation during group activities so that not every child is expected to do the same thing per se, but then they could participate in their rate, in their pace, according to their interests. So tell us about your circle time. In this case, it's a story reading time, and Manijeh is right here supporting this child while this is happening. So tell us about this circle.
Thank you. So it's again based on respecting each child to make their own choices. We offer choices. They can sit on the floor, they can sit on the individual chair or on rocking chair or on the bench. They can hold the stuffed animals. They can have their own books. They don't have to look at our books that we are reading. They can have their own books. When they have choices, they cooperate. They participate and they're happy and they learn. If we make them mandatory to sit down or obligation, they would not participate, they don't cooperate, they don't learn anything. So choices, we have a rule in our school, that's our motto, that we remind them every day that at Right Start Preschool, we need to respect each other's bodies, each other's feelings, and each other's belongings. So that's the rule that is reminded all the time. And they come and say, oh, so-and-so is not respecting my body or not respecting my feelings. I felt sad. So they are verbal and they learn how to assert their feelings. And when they have choices, the day goes very smoothly for them.
So what are those choices here? Let's see.
The choices, my husband Hassan is reading to some of the children over there that they are showing their books to him. So they are asking him to give them attention. And the other teachers is reading there. And I'm there to support one child who is learning English. So she likes to sit next to me because she speaks the same language as I do. So she needs support and she likes to be close to me. And the other child always likes to sit next to a teacher to look at the book or sits, has his own space. He likes to have his own chair. So I feel that everybody's needs are being met that way and they are all engaged.
Manijeh, can you repeat the 3 R's that you mentioned so that way, because I think it's a great idea for us to kind of include into our care.
Yeah, absolutely. Respecting each other's bodies, each other's feelings, and each other's belongings. So that would apply to the whole thing that they do during the day when they are getting each other's toys. So that is their belonging. Somebody is using it. They're not done with it. And each other's feelings. If somebody says, I don't want to play with you. So that is their feelings. And also their bodies when they are bumping to each other or when they are going in the kitchen together. So I think that would cover all the activities during the day.
Thank you.
I think I think I would add one more that I see Manijeh do was respect their interest, right? Because this is actually a book reading. You know how we often, when we think about book reading, we take a book and we read it. But Manijeh asks each child to pick a book during book reading. And then, so that's why there's so many books on the floor. And that's why there's this little group doing, their own reading, is because this is actually time for them to pick a book they want. And then they would kind of like raise their hand to have a turn to have the book read. So this actually lasts for a little while until kids are like, kind of like, okay, we're done with reading. But that interest-driven book reading is what I like to point out, is that it's not just one book. There are actually multiple books available during that time.
Right, and I'd like to add that every day we have helper of the day. One child is helper of the day, and they choose the first book for the story. So the first book is the one that helper of the day chooses, and then other children can have their own book, and we read whatever their attention span is. We can read more books, and if there's any book that I like to read to them, then I would do afterwards.
And there's some comments.
Yes. So this is a comment from the virtual group. I love that they have choice, creating ownership over their learning and involvement.
Wow, that summarizes this whole picture of that statement. So thank you. Beautiful work, Manijeh. And then transitions is the next item that we really want to look at, is because transitions is such a important time where a lot of times challenging behaviors occur because kids are not ready. And so we wanted to be able to see ways that you could actually support children who need support during transition by having all these strategies in place. So we know well about the use of timer. This is a little cleanup trick that I just saw another provider did, and I thought that is such a cute shot. So the provider was like, okay, everybody take out your binoculars, and we just gonna have to zoom in and see where those toys are. And so every child started to do the same thing, and it became such a fun thing to do instead of dragging your body to clean up, that it becomes like a detective game, and it became so engaging. And then there's another idea of when a child actually has challenges transitioning, if that child could be elevated and to be the person who remind other children to clean up in 5 minutes, that would be a great helper role as well for those that really struggle with transition. So let's take a look.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I was going to show that there's actually but here there's actually a choice board of 20 jobs for the whole class of 20 students. So each student has a job every day, and this child ends up doing the 5-minute reminder so that he's part of the process, and that's the best way to learn when you actually get to teach, right? All right, so feedback. So this is another one that we wanted to highlight, because when we think about feedback, we wanted to look at those frequency and type of feedback that we support children's effort in learning. So a lot of times we're so good at giving directions. We also wanted to really capture the moment when teachers acknowledge good behavior, whether it's a learning experience or is an outcome or it's a process. So we're gonna see in this little scenario, this art activity that Manijeh is part of, and this child is going to initiate some really good work of sharing to this child. And let's see what happened after Manijeh acknowledged what this child is doing. Let's see what happened as a ripple effect.
It's going to be a maze. Making a maze with your hands.
You got food. You got this.
Kai is offering that to you, Brandon. That's so kind. Thank you, Kai. I really appreciate that. You're friendly and kind. He's thinking about you. He says, learn this. That's what kind friends do.
I like these two ones.
Oh, you use this too? Oh, Amir Ali is giving that to you. Such a kind friend. I am really happy.
The one
I appreciate it. You don't want that one? Okay. Can you say thank you?
Okay, I'll put it away.
Oh, putting it away. Thank you. You're so responsible, Kai.
No,
He's
you
putting
need
it
to
away.
back that. No, I do.
No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are so kind. I appreciate it. Amir Ali, you can press more on the ink so you get more color. Would you like to press a little bit more with your strong hands? I think you got more this time. Can you press a little bit more? And you can use this one too. You used it all. I see that you use all the colors. You use green and you use purple and red. Would you like to get another paper to do some more?
All right, Manijeh. So, how do you build that muscle to acknowledge trend to the rate that you do?
Thank you. It just becomes a habit with practice. So when you practice, it's like when you drive, you don't think on driving, you just do it automatically. It makes relationship with children. It helps a lot. It's like actually in a busy classroom, it's like another teacher. So when I use that technique, it's like I'm having an extra hand helping me. It helps manage their behaviors. And when they see that you're acknowledging what they do, it's contagious. You see the other child would do that too. So when a child is misbehaving, instead of giving attention to the negative behavior, I give attention to the another child who is doing something positive. If somebody's banging their spoon at the lunch table, I look at the other child. I say, oh, you know how to use your spoon and fork. That's amazing. How did you learn that? Who taught you? And the other child right away behaves and they stop what they're doing. And we tend to take things for granted. We think that we expect children to behave, but that is not always the case. So they should be acknowledged. If we don't acknowledge them, we notice them. Sometimes the well-mannered child starts not behaving because they see the children who are not behaving, they're getting too much attention. So that happens all the time in the classroom. So positive descriptive acknowledgement, PDAs, make miracles. And it helps a lot. And even when I see when we have some visitors, people who are coming to visit us or for the tour, they notice it. They say, oh, they're playing so nicely with each other. They are so cooperative. They're so respectful. And yesterday, one of the children was saying goodbye to another friend. She just turned 3 this month. She's very young, 3. And she said, bye, Brandon. It was nice playing with you today. Wow. So it was so impressive to hear that. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry.
One other thing that I love about this one is that it really is empowering, and engaging with the children just affirms the relationship that Manijeh has with her children. And I love that fact because with working with different ages, mixed group in my care, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to kind of give the kids what they need and want. But with us using the PDAs with them, it's more of like a learning curve for everybody.
Thank you. And also for one of the children who we had challenge of him hitting friends. So I make constant comment that people are caring about you. Your friends like you. They're suggesting that you can use this. Oh, they're giving you toys. So he believes that everybody loves him. So that would help him with his behavior.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Just to hear from that testimonial, like it was so nice playing with you today. Like, wow.
And parents make comment. They say, "Oh my God, that was so sweet."
It is true that really tells us how our modeling made a difference, right? What we do to our children, they just copy what we do. So thank you for sharing your wonderful work with us. And the last two is more related to how we dealt with more kind of the paperwork stuff. So when we think about family professional partnerships, we wanted to think about, do we have an inclusion policy in place at what we do, to state that we do, we are open to serving children with all kinds of needs, and that we are, we are ready to have those practices in place. This, I think, is, again, Kimmy, this is from your school, your idea about having this little suggestion box so that parents can actually write comments, concerns, or questions at any time, so that even when you're not available, how pick up drop off is always a little crazy when you have a big classroom. So I hope this is still in place. Oh, you improved it. How is the improved version? Oh, okay. So of course, Class Jojo is another way. Yes. But this is also, I think we are thinking about inclusion. We also want it to be, there are different ways, right? That parents can communicate for low tech version, and then the Class, Jojo version, which is more on, web based. So yeah, so this is still great to see. We love old school stuff. And then, Manijeh, you have, of course, you are very good with coordinating ideas and plans with families. So tell us about this WhatsApp group that you create for families.
Okay, sure. We have a Telegram group that is an app that they download on their phone, and parents communicate with each other. And I share photos and videos of children and activities that we do. And parents are welcome to organize events by themselves. Even a new parents who is joining, I connect them with other families. So even before starting school, they can meet in the park. So they get connected, and children can make relationship with each other. And I um, reinforce it. I encourage them, make good comments again about families. And when a new family comes, I sign them up and I join them to the group. And then everybody is very welcoming. So the same way that children are encouraged, parents are encouraged to welcome each other and make relationship with each other. Thank you.
And I think this is such a great idea, because when I showed up, everybody knows, all the parents already know that I'm showing up, because Manijeh already shared through the group that there's going to be a visitor. She's an inclusion training specialist and from SCCOE, everything. Like, everybody knows about me so well. Like, that communication, that level of communication is just really profound. Just, you treat them like family, and that's why they treat you like family as well.
We had a new family registering, and they came and took a tour, and the child saw their children. And after a couple of weeks, they came for the second time. And I told all the children that Nathan is coming to visit, and I want to see how everybody is so welcoming to him. He doesn't know anybody. He doesn't have any friend. So I would love to see how you can invite him. You can show him things, so make him feel good about school. And then when he came with his mom didn't think that anybody even remembered their name, because they visited only once. And then everyone say, "Hi, Nathan." And then she was like, "Oh, they remembered him. They know his name." And I told her that, yes, we talked about it. So, "Oh, so you did that." She was so impressed about that.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that story. That the connections matter, right? Like, the little things that you do counts. So last but not least, this is the last item that we're going to go over. A lot of times when we think about monitoring children's learning, we have our tools, such as CLDP, to monitor children's progress. We're also looking at some more specific tool that involves individualized intervention plan. This is an activity matrix that is like a sample of it, showing what are the things we can do at each different period of the day that we can work on certain skills. And so it's something that obviously involves special ed or involvement, or some kind of plan in place, so that we also wanted to make sure we're all doing it, and also making it family friendly, so family can understand what this plan is about and support the work. And so this is something we often like to help, bring a program up to the next level, especially when they're a child with IEP or IFSP. So last but not least, I just want to share all these sites that has been endorsed by us in the past 4 years. Starting 2019, actually there's 2018 too, but the list goes on. So we kind of make it shorter, but these are all the sites. If you're interested, especially with the childcare providers. If you have students in your care that would need extra support after school, we do have a list of childcare providers who are inclusion endorsed, and this is again a document that is available on the slide deck on the PDF that you could reach out to us. You can call us to know specifically their contact information. And then this really helps to support the inclusion work that we all do, both in and outside of classroom, preschool, so that that care gets extended throughout the day. And to conclude our time together, I just wanted to share this photo of Manijeh, who shared with me, and I just wanted to take a wild guess, everybody. What do you think? So this is a child who's graduating from preschool, from Manijeh's care to off to kindergarten. And he drew this to Manijeh. What do you see and what do you think he's trying to communicate? We'll take any wild guess. It looks like a map. Looks, you know what? We got that a lot. Treasure map. What do you see at the corner here? Yeah, there's a number. It's 998. Ah! Bingo, Alejandro. So tell us more about it, Manijeh.
He drew this picture for me. He said, "Teacher Manijeh, this is the map to my house, so you know how to get there. And I want you to come and see me because when I go to kindergarten, I want you to come to my house." So he drew this picture for me.
And it looks like he knows, he's paying attention to his parents driving. There's certain turns that you have to do to get to his house, and all he knows is his number. 998. So you better get there following this map. So that really to me speaks about the work that we all do, the hope of this child, and that deep connection that he has with Manijeh. And and I hope that we all have students in mind, if not having the ability to articulate this. Just knowing that connection is so important, that sense of belonging is so important for them to flourish, to thrive, versus in the survival mode, just like what we just learned from our keynote. So is there any questions, comments, ideas that anyone likes to share before we go? Anything from the virtual space? There's usually some delay over there. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I'm a coach for our Office of Education, and it's really difficult to see what you do, like the positive phrasing, the acknowledgement. That doesn't come naturally. Like you said, it's a practice, but it was really impressive for me. So I wish you have like video somewhere so I can show the teachers that I help so they can see. Yeah, I mean, both of you are really impressive. But I was like, especially because that area is really difficult for the teachers, and for you, sounds like natural. And that's what I would like to see in the classrooms that I support.
I just had a quick question about possibly one of the tools. You mentioned something about behavior and around special education with children. There seemed to be a little drill down. Did I misunderstand?
Oh, that was the activity matrix that I mentioned. Yeah. So the activity matrix is pretty much laying down, okay, what can I work on during free choice with this child, having those goals in mind.
Is that something that's already embedded that we could download from?
So it's something that it does take a little work to be trained and think about, to develop activity matrix. But if you need more information, I can give you some information if you give me your email. Okay? Yes.
All right, we have a virtual comment. Oh, a couple of them coming in. And this was a comment to the art piece that was made by your student. Uh, that is so sweet. Great reminder. Thank you all very much. And then here's another one that is just saying, excellent. Thanks for the information.
Well, really appreciate all of you being here. Appreciate our panel members, their great work in the field, and be able to showcase their work here. I think is just a beautiful opportunity for us to know how much work we have done in the background, that with this kind of light that we could shine to more people, like what Alejandro was saying, that this takes a lot of practice to be able to be at that level where your skill is just right there without thinking about it. It's autopilot. So let's keep our autopilot going and keep growing those muscles. And I hope you all enjoy this presentation and for the rest of the day at this conference. All right. So thanks again for everybody being here. I think it's lunchtime right now. So we will head out to lunch at the courtyard, and then feel free to to personalize your bag if you have not done it. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.